Welcome to your new chemistry class. I congratulate all the newcomers of our institution and I hope you should be cope with our system and this online classes. Thank you all. Today I will discuss more preliminary things about the chemistry. What do you mean by chemistry? Chemistry is the branch of science which deals with study of chemical composition of matters and their transformations. So then the chemical composition means by which or from which particles it is made up of. So the primary things is the particles from which the matter consists of. If you examine, it is observed that very small particles like atoms, molecules, compounds, etc. are the primary constituent of all matters. So then, what do we mean by atom, molecule and compound? Then we will discuss some more new terms in chemistry. First, you know what is atom. Atom is the smallest particle of all matter which may or may not have independent existence. So here the term may or may not have means here some atoms have their independent existence like sodium, potassium or metals. But all gases, most of the gases except the inert gases like helium, neon, argon, these are the monoatomic and they are termed as the smallest particle and called atoms. But most of the gases consists of two or more atoms. Let's say oxygen, it is O2. It cannot exist as oxygen atom, rather O2 is the oxygen molecule. Similarly, nitrogen, similarly ozone, etc. So these atoms have no independent existence, but in form of their molecules, they are in independent existence. So then, molecule definition again gives the idea that it is the smallest particle of all matter which has independent existence. These two terms may not require here. Which has independent existence, this is the molecule. So these are the molecules which has independent existence. Oxygen molecule, you know, hydrogen molecule, ozone, etc. These are the independent, they have independent existence in nature. And here, if you consider the molecular form of oxygen consists of two atoms, therefore it is called diatomic molecule. Similarly, ozone consists of three oxygen atoms, therefore it is triatomic molecule. Likewise, number of atoms that present in one molecule of a substance is called its atomicity. Consider the matter that present in nature remain in two forms mainly. One is elemental form and another is compound form. So then, what do you mean by element? Then, what do you mean by compound? Element, it is the simplest form of all substance, which cannot be simplified further. So about the element, I can say you to be clear about that. So you know the periodic table, there are 118 elements are there. All the elements all the elements that arranged in a definite order in that periodic table, all are the elements like hydrogen, helium, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, let's say all, rubidium, cesium, francium, similarly here, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, etc. All the elements present in the periodic table are the elements, and these elements have their definite chemical behavior, different chemical behavior from one another. We will discuss later on that one. About the compound, I say the compound, it is the combination of two or more elements in a definite ratio of their weight. So compound is defined as the matter, the substance which is obtained by union of two or more elements in a definite proportion of their mass or weight. So the compound consists of two or more elements which are in a definite proportion by their mass. That means when we talk about, let's say, water, we can write the compound water is H2O. Here hydrogen parts by mass 2 and oxygen 16. So the ratio is 2:16, that is 1:8. This is the definite ratio in which hydrogen and oxygen combine to give water as a compound. So a compound always made up of same elements combined together in a fixed proportion by their mass, and that is also in the law of chemical combination. We will switch over that in next period, that is law of definite proportion. And similarly, when you write, let's say, magnesium chloride, MgCl2, that has a definite proportion of magnesium and chlorine. And the trick or technique to write these symbols, the compound form of this formula, we have to consider their valency state as well as their symbols, and these are the subscript number which are obtained from the valency of the concerned element. Now, let's see what do mean by the mixture. When we are talking about the mixture, another form of the matter that is called mixture. Mixture is the union of two or more elements or compounds which can be combined in any proportion by their weight. When we are considering about the compound, we are saying that compound has definite proportion by weight of the elements, but in mixture, two or more compound or elements or two or more substances combined in any proportion by weight is called mixture. We have to talk about the compound here, and now I will show to mixture. In the mixture, two or more substances combine together in any proportion by weight. But in compound, that has definite proportion. This is the primary difference between the compound and mixture. When we are considering about the compound, here the compound has the characteristic or the property of the compound is completely different from the element from which it is made up of. The properties are different. Properties are different from the elements from which it is made up of. Again, in case of mixture, the properties of the mixture, the property of the mixture is the properties of the substances. Here, the property of the substance remain intact, remain in there in the mixture. When we are taking two mixtures, one is sand, another is salt. Sand and salt mixture. There the property of the salt is there, also the property of the sand is there. But when we are considering about the elemental form of the form, the property of the element hydrogen is different, property of the oxygen is different, because you know hydrogen is inflammable, it can be fired easily, and oxygen is the supporter of combustion, can help to combust, to fire the hydrogen. When two combine together, then we get water, which is used to extinguish the fire, and the property of the water therefore is completely different from the property of the hydrogen and oxygen, because water is made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Their properties not remain in the compound. But in case of sugar plus salt mixture, you can test the salt of sugary taste as well as salty taste in the mixture. And here another basic difference between the two is that in the compound, the element hydrogen and oxygen cannot be separated by any easy physical means. These two cannot be separated by easy physical means, physical method. Cannot be separated. But this can be easily separated by the physical method. When we are talking about the separation of the components, it is difficult. When we are considering separation of the component, it is very easy and can be separated physical by simple physical methods. These are the some difference between the compound and mixture. Now, so to write the water or while writing the mixture, there are some chemical formula are necessary. Switchable to that, I will discuss about the formula and what do you mean by that is symbol. So when I am talking about the symbol, which are very important term in chemistry, symbol is the abbreviated form of elements. It is short and abbreviated sign. Shortened sign for the lengthy name of an element. Let's say we are talking about the, hydrogen, we are writing H, oxygen we are writing O, and about, let's say chromium we are writing Cr. These are the simple letters which are used to signify the name of that element. This is the symbol. And when we are considering about the formula, formula is also the short and abbreviated form of a molecule or compound. Let's say we are considering about the water, it is shortened form of water. When we are considering about the, let's say, carbon dioxide, or let's say sugar, and these are the simplest form, or this formula is the simplest form of the representation by the help of symbols and some subscript numbers. We are considering the symbols, carbon and oxygen, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen and oxygen. These are the symbols of the elements, and there is some number at their bottom, that is 2, or here is 2. These are the subscript number. To write a formula, we have to consider the symbols of the element and the subscript number. So then, how to know the subscript number or the symbols? We know symbol are the elemental representation, and the subscript number can be known from their valence state. Valence state. Then, what is the valence? So you know valence is the combining capacity of an element which can be measured by the help of symbols, which can be measured by the help of the number of hydrogen atoms or the double number of oxygen atoms or the number of chlorine atoms that combines or displaces in a chemical combination. Let's consider magnesium chloride. Here, one magnesium atom combines with two chlorine atoms. Therefore, the valency of magnesium is 2. When we are considering aluminum oxide, here it is the subscript 2 and 3. These 2 and 3 come from their valence state of aluminum, and here valence state of oxygen. Oxygen valence is 2. Here 3 oxygen atom combines with 3 oxygen atom combines 2 aluminum atoms. So 1 oxygen atom combines 2 by 3 aluminum atoms. Therefore, here the double number of oxygen atom means here we are considering the number of here 2 aluminum atoms combines with 3 oxygen atoms. 1 aluminum atom combines 3 by 2 oxygen atoms. So double number of oxygen atom that combines means we have to multiply 2. Therefore, the valence of aluminum is 3 and the valence of oxygen is 2. To know the short trick of these valences, we have to go through the periodic table. And in the periodic table, we can know if we know about their atomic number and the arrangement of electrons in the atom. Now, I can say the symbols and their atomic numbers and the number of electrons in different cells. By knowing that, we can determine the valence state of the elements, which helps to write the correct formula of a compound. So now, let's say the atomic number I can write here. This table is very important for the preliminary newcomers. And here the symbol, and we can write the electronic configuration, you know, from the metric carrier, electronic configuration, you know it, most of you know, all of, and the atomic mass, or let's say valency, then atomic mass. This table helps you to determine the valency of the elements. You know this up to minimum up to 20 or 30. So atomic number, I can say you some tricks to know. That's up to 20 here. तोड़ आहे ते पडुची आरकन electronic configuration, you know, the arrangement of the electrons in an atom in different cells. You know it very well. Likewise, you can write. And here, the atomic number, from the atomic number, we can know the valence state. Here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. Likewise. Here, if you consider the hydrogen, it is 1. And the atomic mass, if you consider, it is 1, then it is 4, and here is 7, here is 9, here is beryllium, beryllium 7, 9, here is boron 11, and here is 12, 14, and here is carbon. It is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, then sodium, then here is, this is neon, this is sodium, this is magnesium, aluminum, and here is silicon, here is phosphorus, likewise sulfur, chlorine, argon, and 39 and 40. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lithium 7. Lithium 7. Hydrogen, helium, lithium 7. Beryllium 9, boron 11, and here carbon 12, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16, and here is fluorine 19, likewise. Now let us discuss a few words about this valency and the atomic mass. When we are considering about the hydrogen, it has 1 electron in K cell, you know better. Therefore, it has valency 1. And in case of helium, 2 electrons are present in K cell, and K cell has the capacity to contain 2 electrons only. Therefore, helium has 0 valency, and likewise beryllium 2 electrons, boron 3, carbon 4, etc., etc. So then, this valence, from this valency consideration, we can say valency is the combining capacity, but it can be measured by knowing the number of outermost electrons present in the atom. Number of outermost electrons means here 1, 2, 3, 4, but in case of nitrogen it is 5. If it is more than 4, then the valency will be more than 4, then the valency will be 8 minus the number of outermost electron. If it is less than 4, then the valency is equal to x. It is number of outermost electrons is if less than 4. If it is greater than 4, then valence will be 8 minus x. On that process, you can know the valency of different elements, and the valency of the different element again can be known very clearly if you go through the periodic table. In the periodic table, the elements are arranged in different periods and groups, and from their group you can easily judge the valence state. Let's say in group 1, you know hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These elements are present in group 1. Therefore, they correspond to valence 1. Again in group 2, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. These are in group 2. Therefore, they correspond to the valence 2. Likewise, you can know valence state of an element from the periodic table easily if you remember some elements in a particular order. Now, what about the atomic mass? Here the atomic mass is something which is experimental one, cannot be explained for all elements, but up to the 20. Excepting few, you can easily judge their mass. As here is the atomic number, let's say 9, 1, and 14, and here is 35.5, here is 40. Except these 5 elements, all the atomic mass up to 20 can be easily remembered from their atomic number. This atomic number actually represents the number of protons present in the nucleus or the number of electrons in their outermost shell for neutral atom. So here, when it is odd atomic number, like say the odd atomic number, let's say 9. This is odd number. When the atomic number is odd, the atomic mass is 19. Means it is double plus 1. The atomic number into 2 plus 1 gives the atomic mass of the particular elements if the atomic number is odd. If atomic number is even, then the atomic mass is double of its atomic number. Like oxygen is 18 and it is atomic number 16. So 18 atomic number of oxygen is 8. So its atomic mass is 16, means double of its atomic number. But for odd atomic number element, the atomic mass is double plus 1. Up to this 20 approximately can be remembered, but not it is a rule or it is a law. So now, by knowing this valency, you can easily write the formula of a particular compound correctly. Let's say, consider some formula, and how to write this formula, you can now switch out that how to write a chemical formula. Let's say we are talking about aluminum oxide. When you have to write first the symbol of the element aluminum and the oxygen. Now the valency of these elements must be written on their top. If there is no common multiplication, then just apply cross rule to give the correct formula of aluminum oxide. When you are considering about sodium phosphide, let's say, so it is Na and it is phosphorus, it has valency 1 and it is valency 3. So there is no common multiplication, therefore we can write it Na3P. This is the sodium phosphide. When you are considering another elements, let's say silicon oxide, silicon and oxygen. This is silicon has the atomic number 4, oxygen has atomic number 2, atomic valence is 2, here valence is 4. There is a common multiplication 2, must be cancelled out and it will be remain 1 and 2. And this again apply the cross rule to give the formula of silicon oxide or silicon dioxide, so to say. Likewise, the formula of a compound can be written, and these compounds are called simple compounds as it contains simple element aluminum oxide. But all compounds are not simple, consist of simple just by one elements. Rather, a group of elements again to be considered to know the other compositions of the formula. Now, to know that, we have to read or remember some formula of radicals. These are some positive radicals, and let's say I am considering about the sodium sulfate. This is the formula of sodium sulfate. When I am considering sodium, this is simple element, and sulfate, it is a compound radical. And here, because compound, why compound? Because it consists of 2 or more elements. This radical consists of 2 or more elements. So any ionic compound consists of 2 parts. Any ionic compound consists of 2 parts. I will switch over to that. That is the symbol or the formula of the radicals. When we are considering any ionic compound, let's say calcium carbonate. It consists of 2 parts. One is calcium, another is carbonate. And this calcium is the positive part and the carbonate is the negative part. Therefore, the calcium is said to be positive radical and carbonate is said to be negative radical. Calcium has valency 2, because of positive it is given plus. plus 2 calcium. It is simple radical. But what about the carbonate? It is a compound radical consist of carbon and 3 oxygen atoms, and by together they give rise to a negative part of this ionic compound, and carbonate is CO3 2 minus. So this is called compound radical. Therefore we can say any salt or any compound consists of two parts. One is positive part, another is negative part. This positive part is called basic part or basic radical, and this is called negative part or acid radical. Negative part or acid radical, because this is positive part comes from the base and the negative radical comes from the acid. If you consider, let's say calcium hydroxide, let's say, and we are considering carbonic acid, let's say H2CO3. This is acid, this is base. Because base, you know, base is any substance which can give OH minus ion in water, and acid is any substance which can give H plus ion in water. So it is base, it is acid. When these two combine, this basic part and the OH minus and here is H plus combine together to give water molecule, and remaining is calcium carbonate. The remaining is calcium carbonate. Therefore, calcium comes from a base, this is comes from acid, we get salt and water. Salt and water. So, basic part, calcium, because it comes from base, acid part, carbonate, which come from acid, and we get the salt calcium carbonate. This is basic radical and this is acid. This is called also cation, positive ion. This is called anion. And the name given cation and anion, again there is some reason, there is some logic, because this ion when in electrolysis, you know, what do you mean by electrolysis? विद्युत विश्लेषण कथा तुम जानी पिले जिते आम कैथोड एनोड दुटा बुड़ेवा गोटे सल्ट सल्यूशन रखाई चार्ज करा जे पॉजिटिव पार्ट नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड आड़क जीव एंड नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड इज कॉल्ड कैथोड सॉरी नेगेटिव पार्ट नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड आड़ जो कॉल्ड कैथोड एंड द पॉजिटिव पार्ट ऑफ चार्ज रड आड़क जी जीव सी है एनोड जेहेतु एनोड पाखक जी जाए सी है एनायन कैथोड पाखक जी जाए सी है कैटायन. So therefore, this basic radical is called cation and the acid radical is called anion. And this is positive part and negative basic radical and acid radical. When we are considering the basic radical and acid radical, they are simple radical as well as compound radical. It is simple radical, this is compound radical. Again, considering their valence state, we can divide into monovalent, divalent, trivalent, tetravalent. So let's consider sodium ion. This is Na plus means having plus 1 charge, means it has monovalent cation. This is divalent cation. Aluminum is trivalent cation. And similarly, when considering the acid radical, there is, let's say OH minus. This is monovalent acid radical. Carbonate, divalent acid radical. Phosphate, trivalent acid radical. These are all the different parts or different classification of the radicals: basic radical, acid radical, simple radical, compound radical, monovalent, divalent, trivalent. So about that monovalent, you have to remember a number of monovalent radicals, divalent, trivalent radicals, even in basic as well as in acid radical. Then only you can able to write the correct formula of a compound. Now, when we are writing ammonium phosphate, ammonium NH4 plus and phosphate PO4 3 minus, you know. So only the valence is written on that top. Then cross rule is applied. If there is a compound radical, a bracket is given to write the number, subscript number. Again the phosphate remains as such. So ammonium phosphate has correct formula NH3 whole 4 PO4. So this basic radical and acid radical table is there in your textbook. You please go through that and remember as far as possible to write the correct formula of a compound and to able to write the correct one. Then the chemistry starts there, where you know this valency, atomic number, as well the electronic configuration, atomic mass, radical symbols, etc. Then you start your chemistry class perfectly. So today I discuss about this one. You have to remember the radical, symbol, valency and atomic number of the elements, then we can read chemistry so easily. To make easy chemistry, first make your memory strong to remember these radicals, and in next class I will discuss the compositions and the formula and the other part of this chemistry or the preliminary chemistry in next class. Thank you.